Picture this. You've put a ton of hard work into your job. You've saved, you've scratched, you've clawed, you've put together a budget, and you're ready to buy a house. What's the next step? Well, if you look at any statistics online, you will see that 20% of real estate agents are trusted. Meaning 80% of real estate agents are not trusted. Take a look at Twitter, Reddit, news stories online, and you're gonna see tons of stories with how real estate agents did something shady. They might have deceived their clients or even outright illegal. So I'm here to tell you today how to pick a real estate agent in 2025. My name is Ben Peters. I'm a real estate agent. I've done over $100 million worth of volume in my career. That puts me in the top 1% of real estate agents. I also am a real estate investor. I own 20 rental properties. And so I am here to tell you, I live, breathe, and bleed real estate. And so I want to tell you, I want to tell the masses how to pick a real estate agent and how to do it well, how to find somebody like me. But before I get into the video, if you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and more importantly, hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time I post a video like this. So let's jump into the video. All right, you are ready to buy a house. First of all, congratulations. It is usually the biggest financial decision of somebody's life. And so the fact that you're ready to buy a house, it is something that only 65% of Americans do. And so the fact that you're ready to buy, congratulations. But where do you start? Start with step number one. Ask your friends for a good real estate agent. One of my favorite phrases is success leaves clues. And so if you have a friend who's bought a property before and they had a great experience with their realtor, ask for a referral. Because the best real estate agents are referral based. Me and my business, I'm 98% referral. The other 2% comes from random Facebook, YouTube, that kind of thing. So if somebody is in a better financial position than you, meaning a friend of yours bought a house, maybe they're wealthy and they have experience buying properties, I would ask them for a referral. Referrals are the best place to find a real estate agent. And newsflash, don't go online to find a real estate agent. I know there's a ton of people online who are like, oh, I'll just go on Zillow. I'll click, hey, I want to tour this house. What Zillow does is take your information and send it to a realtor who is paying for that information. This is my personal opinion, and this is a hot take. I personally believe realtors who are paying for information on Zillow are bad. If they were a good realtor, they would have a referral-based business. But because they are not a good realtor, they have to go to cold lead sources like Zillow, like Trulia, like Homes.com, like Realtor.com, and buy leads. If you are finding your real estate agent through an online portal, I personally believe you are getting a average to possibly below average agent. Step number two, go and meet with the agent before you look at any homes with them. Here's the thing. Tons of realtors love to be like, hey, let's have a quick Zoom conversation and then let's go look at the house. Well, what they are going to do is force you into a contract with them. And so I suggest to all clients, and I tell this to the buyers that I meet with on a weekly basis, hey, why don't we go out to coffee? I'm going to tell you why you're going to want to use me. And I'll tell you my process, tell you the timeline, open it up for any questions. But I encourage you to meet with other real estate agents. And what I've actually found is some people go and meet with other real estate agents and they're like, oh man, Ben, you already know way more than the average real estate agent. And so that's why I would much rather have you meet at a coffee shop, lunch spot, and ask the realtor some questions. So here's a few questions that I would suggest asking. First question to ask a realtor is, what do you charge? So in August of 2024, last year, real estate changed. It used to be when I brought a buyer through a house, on the MLS, it said, hey, you're getting paid X percentage. What was typical average was 2.7%. There was no negotiating that percentage. But in August of 2024, that changed. There is no longer a percentage on the MLS. And so as a buyer's agent, I have to charge a fee before I show my clients any homes. And this is how I do it. I say, hey, Mr. Buyer, I'm really, really good at this. You're gonna wanna keep using me as a real estate agent, but I charge 3% for my services. But here's the great thing. I'm a high producing real estate agent. I do anywhere between 40 and 60 deals a year when the average agent only does about 6 deals a year. And because of that, the great thing is I charge 3% for my services, and my goal is to get that negotiated and paid for by the seller. And part of my job is to negotiate my fee from the seller. If I'm terrible at negotiating, newsflash buyer, you are gonna have to pay for my services. And so if you meet with this agent in person and they seem timid, it doesn't seem like they're a good negotiator, here's the thing, buyer, you are going to pay for them because they suck at negotiating, getting their commission paid for by the seller. So I'm gonna say my job is to get this negotiated from the seller. And if I can't get it negotiated from the seller, I'm terrible at my job. But I charge for 3%. In the event of multiple offers and there's 10 offers on the table, here's the great thing. Because I am a high producing real estate agent, I'll even negotiate my fee down to 2% in order to put your offer over and above all these other agents who might be charging 3%, 2.5%, anything like that. That's the pro of using an agent who's good at negotiating. So that's question number one, how much do you charge? Second question you should ask, how many sales did you do last year? This one might be another hot take. You need to use a realtor who is busy, but not so busy. Because if your realtor, there's a lot of people who say, oh, I just want to use my cousin who did 3 deals last year. Well, here's the thing. I'm a realtor located in Minnesota. The market dramatically shifts over a 2-month period. And so if they are used to the market 2 months ago where it was really, really hot, well, they're helping you bring an offer way above list price when in reality, the market is way slowed down. And so you want somebody who's busy, who knows what they're doing, but who's not so busy. There are some realtors out there who are doing 200 deals a year by themselves where they don't even talk to their clients. They just send them out with buyer's agents and all that kind of stuff. I believe you want an agent who's busy, but not too busy. The number that I think you should be looking for is about 20 deals a year. Again, I'm anywhere between that 40 and 60 mark, so I'm still busy, but at bare minimum, I think in order for somebody to understand a market, they need to be doing about 20 deals a year. And if you look on that, that's about 2 deals a month. And so that is a fairly busy real estate agent. If they're doing less than that, I personally believe they don't really have a grip on what the market is doing. The third question that you should ask is, are you familiar with the area I'm buying in? Now, this is one that can be a little bit flexible. So for me, I work in the Twin Cities area. I work in the entire Twin Cities. There are some people who say, I want an expert in this particular neighborhood. I don't think it's as important, but here's the thing. You still need to know the general area. Hey, what's good shopping around here? What kind of parks are around here? What kind of schools are around here? Because I've done so many deals around the Twin Cities area, I know the generals of almost every city in the Twin Cities. If you're working with somebody who maybe it's a cousin, maybe it's an uncle, who they work the south side of the cities and then you want to buy up north, but it's like, I really want to support my cousin because he's in the family. Well, chances are he's not going to know the school systems. Chances are he's not going to know the parks. Chances are he's not going to know the shopping. And so that can really detract from the buying experience if they aren't at least somewhat familiar with the area. So those are 3 questions you should ask every single real estate agent before you even walk through a house with them. Step number 3, go get pre-approved. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to do anything with the real estate agent, but a good real estate agent is going to have a good relationship with a loan officer. And I am highly, highly, highly suggest going with a lender that the real estate agent knows, likes, and trusts. Now, caveat, I think when you go get pre-approved to buy a house, at minimum, you should get 3 quotes. Because if the real estate agent is working with a lender, there is a chance that that lender charges higher fees, higher closing costs, all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure you're getting a good deal. But the reason real estate agents like working with certain lenders, I love working with certain lenders, because if I call the lender at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night and say, hey, we're putting in an offer, we want to put in an offer, we need a pre-approval letter. That lender is going to get me a pre-approval letter at 10 p.m. We're going to send the offer off, and there's a chance we get an accepted offer the next morning. If you're using a random loan officer like a Rocket Mortgage or Wells Fargo is the worst. Sorry for anybody who's watching who works for them. They are just the worst. or US Bank, any of those big lenders, if you look at a house on Saturday, those loan officers don't work until Monday. So they're not going to get you a pre-approval letter until Monday morning. So there's a chance you don't get that house over the weekend. Make sure you use a lender that your real estate agent likes, trusts, but gives you good fees. Now, one thing about me, I just got my license. I am now a licensed loan officer. And so if you're looking for a starting point, I'm licensed here in Minnesota, but I have a network of a ton of lenders throughout the country. So if you're watching this video right now, hey, I want to get pre-approved for a loan. I don't even know where to start. Hey, shoot me a message. My contact info is below. I'd love to at least start the process for you. Step number 4, go out and look at houses. So remember, I told you in August 2024, real estate changed. The commission structure changed, but the other thing that changed is technically, me as a real estate agent, I cannot go look at houses until I put somebody under contract. This is another hot take. Spoiler alert. I hate this law because it makes people sign a contract with an agent, and sometimes those agents suck. I personally believe a client should be able to look at a house without being under contract with somebody. And so if you're watching this right now, you're interviewing some agents, and the agent says, hey, you have to sign a contract in order for me to show you a house. That is true. That is law now. But I'm going to encourage you, make them put in a clause that says I can get out of this contract for any reason. I put a clause in all my contracts. I have a clause in all my contracts. I'm going to read it word for word. This agreement is intended to be exclusive. However, the buyer may terminate this agreement at any time without penalty by providing written notice of termination to the agent via text message or email. Super simple. Guys, do not, I repeat, do not sign a contract that does not have some kind of clause like this in it, okay? Because here's the thing. If your real estate agent is terrible, you should be able to cancel and go find a real estate agent who is great at what they do. And the reason I'm so passionate about this, I'll tell you a little story from when I got licensed. This was one of my very first deals. I had a veteran single mom reach out to me and say, hey, Ben, I see that you became a real estate agent. I would love to work with you. I'm working with an agent right now who's just terrible. And I said, hey, I'm really sorry. Are you under contract with that agent? And she said, yes, I am under contract. I put an offer in on one house, but I don't want that house anymore. I want to go look at more. And this agent won't show me any more houses. He basically said, you've looked at 3 houses. You got to pick one of these 3. And so she said, oh, Ben, I really want to work with you. And I said, hey, by law, if you tell me you are under contract with another agent, I can't work with you. So you have to be let out of that contract. So she shot the guy a text, called him, said, hey, I'm just not having a good experience. I'd love to be let out of the contract. Do you know what this agent said? This agent said, yeah, I'll let you out of the contract. It's just a cost of $5,000. Just pay $5,000 and I'll let you out of the contract. No questions asked. He did this to a single mom who's also a veteran. And so that's why for me, with all of my buyers, I say trust is earned, not given. I want to earn your trust. And that's why I'm going to put that out in every single one of my contracts. So please, please, please make sure you do that before you sign anything with any agent and go tour homes. And lastly, if you're working with a realtor and you say, hey, I'd really like to see it today at 4 p.m. and they say, oh, hey, I can't do today, let's do tomorrow. One time, that's totally fine. But if this happens again and again and again and again, right now in Minnesota, we're in a fairly hot market. And if I'm not looking at a house the day it gets listed, there's a chance I'm not seeing that house and you are not getting it as a client. If your agent cancels on you 2 or 3 times or pushes you off 2 or 3 times, guys, drop them. Go find an agent who is more available. For me, I'm very available. This is what I do 24/7, 365. But I do have a team of agents underneath me. In the event that I'm gone, that I'm with another client, I want all my clients to be able to get into a house even if my schedule doesn't allow it. So there it is. There's the video. There's how to find a realtor. Hopefully the steps make sense. Hopefully the questions make sense. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section below. But more importantly, I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Minnesota. I'm not in any other state. But if you're watching this and you're saying, hey, Ben, could you vet and find a good agent for me in my area? I would love to do that. That's one of my favorite things to do, is find good agents in areas. I already have a few good agents across the nation, but if you're in an area that I haven't worked in, I would love to make a few phone calls, ask a few questions, find somebody who would be perfect for you. So without further ado, see you guys on the next one.